and welcome to the Fat Squirrel Speaks. Today is Wednesday, January 21st, and this is episode 130 something. How are you? Good to know. Good to know. I'm Amy Beth, also known as The Fat Squirrel on Ravelry and The Fat Squirrel SQRRL on Instagram. I just noticed I'm a little tiltier than even normal. Oh, we're moving together. Are you okay? Sorry. Now I'll move and it'll mess it up. Whatever. Shush. Oh, yeah, those are the things I think. Those are the little things, but they're the things that you say at the beginning. Now we can move on to the next part. Shenanigans! Oh my gosh, there really aren't any. It's January. People, getting out of bed in the morning counts as a shenanigan, right? You're like, ooh, I'm feisty. I got out of bed. I'm super feisty. I put on a bra. Oh my gosh. I'm mega feisty. It's 11:30 a.m. and I'm still wearing said bra. What? Shenanigan. It's true. You lower your standards of fun in January. Really though, were there shenanigans? No, there were no shenanigans. We got a lot accomplished this weekend, so that's a good thing. We helped a friend move an elliptical into a second floor apartment. Like a heavy duty elliptical, not just like a pretend one. I have giant bruises on my legs. They're like the size of a U.S. industrial boneless skinless chicken breast. They're huge! From it whacking me in the legs as I was helping carry it up the stairs. You know how tempted I am to show you? So tempted! Not because I want pity or anything, but just because I kind of have a sick fascination with bruises. I know it's weird, right? Whatever. They're cool. When you were a kid and you got a bruise, you were like, that's right, that hurt, and now I got proof thereof. As an adult, I'm still disappointed when I get hurt and there's no bruise or gash or anything visible to be like, oh. I know, right? That's how I feel. Can't help it. I don't know. So what did we do? We did that. That was it. Oh my gosh, do you know this? Do you know this? Now, I know a lot of you are going to know this because a lot of you are A, fit, B, maybe you go to the doctor. I did not know this. This is all for my non-fit, not necessarily wanting to go to the doctor for any reason except for dislocated shoulder or ripped off leg people. Did you know this? I did not know this, and I feel like I need to tell you because I wish I had known this forever ago. The last time my friends, so people were at a house, somebody was I was talking, that's what it was. I was talking about my heel was hurting. Like, ow, my heel, ow. Now, have you ever had this happen where it feels like you bruised your heel? Like, it really does feel like you stepped on a giant rock and like the inside of your heel is bruised. Do you know what I mean? Like on the bottom, inside. And you're like, oh, that hurts so bad. It's not that bad, but it's uncomfortable. It's more than a little uncomfortable, okay? It's painful. And when you walk on it, you're like, how? And you limp, which makes you feel silly. Because there's no bruise. Do you ever have that happen? Okay, so I've had that happen forever. Not like all the days, but I mean like, it happens, right? And you just think, I don't know what that's about. What did I step on? What did I do? And maybe it's because I'm a fat lady and I just always think everything is because I'm fat. Because doctors tell you that. That's the reason I don't go to the doctor. Because I could go with my dislocated arm and they would be like, well, you know, if you lost 100 pounds, that dislocated arm would just take care of itself. No, it wouldn't, doctor! Anyway, fat rant. But, so I just went, it's because I'm fat and out of shape. Well, it's kind of because you're out of shape. It's not because you're fat. Nothing to do with your fatness. Nothing. So I was complaining that my heel was hurting and my friend, who was fit, who was getting an elliptical, was like, oh yeah, that's totally a thing where you can just stretch that out. And I'm like, what? It's a bruise. It doesn't feel like a muscle, like it's, what? Apparently, I think it's your Achilles tendon, if I'm not mistaken. I looked it up and that's what the internet's told me. You just need to stretch it out. It's because you walked or jumped or did both of those things. And maybe you tried to do too many 8-minute high-intensity interval exercises. Because you're crazy that day. Or whatever day it was. Yeah, it's totally thing you can stretch out. It's plantar fasciitis. I didn't even fasciitis. What? That's totally what it is. Did you know? You probably all are like, dude, we so knew. You were the only one who didn't know. I didn't know. So there's like little exercises you can do to stretch out that tendon in the back of your leg. It's a tendon in the back of your leg. Of course it hurts in your foot. That's hooked on down there. But you know what I mean. Who would think? Who would think? It feels like you stepped on something and bruised your foot with no visible bruise. Anyway. So if you didn't know that, now you know. It might happen especially if you're switching between barefoot shoes and like squishy shoes. Have you done that? Is that what did it? I think that's what's doing it to me. I think you have to like pick one and stick with it. Or you just have to get that tendon really stretched out so it doesn't matter as much. That's probably what I need to do. So I'm going to work on my tendons. So anyway, that was a long rant for somebody who's like, dude, we totally knew. But anyway, moving on. That's my more you know, the more you grow moment. I have a thank you to do very quickly. Okay, so here's like an aside. I think what I'm going to start trying to do is maybe do like every other episode as a lighter episode in terms of like, maybe I'll only show you things that I've finished or maybe have started or just what I feel like. And I'm going to try to make every other episode maybe a shorter episode. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to just test the waters and see if I like that format. Is that all I need to tell you? I think so. So just be prepared if that happens. Just FYI. Okay. So thank you. I don't always say thank you for when you people send me stuff because you're so nice. It would be ridiculous. I usually really try to wait until I'm using the thing to be like, thank you. But this time I wanted to tell you about it ahead of time because there's something else going on. Right? I know, whatever. The O-Loops ladies, the ladies at O-Loops, sent me a skein of their Superwash Merino. This is the sport weight. It's 320 yards. Isn't that a pretty colorway? I believe it's called Eddie Cohen, but I could be wrong. Isn't it pretty? I'm trying to decide if I need a hat. Like, I can't decide. I love these colors so much, but I can never decide if they look okay next to my face because I'm so pale. Does it wash me out too much? Maybe it doesn't. I can't decide. Anyway, I love it. It's so pretty and soft and squishy. But the reason I wanted to tell you that is because that they are doing a read-along in their group. And their read-along is The Museum of Extraordinary Things by Alice Hoffman. Do you love Alice Hoffman? I like Alice Hoffman quite a bit. Anyway, I probably won't get to read along with them because, quite frankly, I'm a horrifically slow reader. Horrifically. Because I read in the 7 minutes it takes me to fall asleep every night. I really want to change that. I really need to work on that. Because I really do want to read more, and I just don't make the time to do it. I need to do that. But anyway, they're doing a read-along, and I'm assuming it's a, you know, I didn't check with them. Is it a co-read-along, craft-along? Because that's what I'm thinking. With their yarn and this book. So just go check it out if you're interested. Again, they're O-Loops. They do have a podcast, and I apologize. I don't know what it's called. But I'm sure that information will be in their Ravelry group. There you go, okay? So thanks, ladies! Again, I don't always do the thank yous publicly, but that's something that's happening now, so I don't want to wait till I start using it, because by then, Lord knows, I probably moved on to something else completely. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so finish. Objects. I finished my hat. My beautiful hat that I'm making that I made. Pass down because it's done. With mini skeins from Spun Right Round. And that hat, oh, Fooey Technology, cooperate please. That hat is the scrappy, it's not on here, darn it. It'll be in the show notes, and it was in the show notes last week. But anyway, it's like the scrappy slouch head sock hat or something like that. So I finished it. Yay! Oh, so I did something tricky. Not really, but a little tricky. Remember last week I showed you, and it had that, well, the last several times I've showed you, it had this at the bottom, So it had some 1x1 ribbing at the bottom. I didn't really like how it looked because it looked so purple and it just didn't look right. I didn't like it because I didn't, and this is the reason. In the pattern, she does like an actual normal, like larger amount of ribbing and it looks much better. I had to do a shorter amount of ribbing because I didn't have like a lot of extra of a color to stagger it in. So I had to do less. Well, I should have just picked a color for the ribbing and then started the striping after that. That would have looked better because then it was like this dinky little stripe of purple, which was very confusing looking. Didn't care for it. So after I decided that, after I blocked it and did all that, and then I was like, no, I don't like it. I decided just to fold the brim under and just whip stitch it down. So now you don't see the ribbing. So it's still functional in terms of like it does have a little bit of elasticity. It certainly keeps it from rolling. But now it doesn't have that stripe at the beginning, which I did not care for. Again, mine was just, it was proportionally not right. So there's that. Isn't it fun? It has all the crazy colors of the world in it. Look, there's even some neon, like yellow and purple. Right. It's very exciting. Okay, what else? So yay that. That's all I need to talk about. US 2s, I think I did that on. It was very fun. And now I want to stripe everything. Right? I want to do 1x1 stripes on everything. Like Megan has, Megan of the Stockinette Zombies has a new sock pattern. Which, by the way, she sent me. Thank you, Megan. What's it called? It's called Static Zing, right? Isn't that right? Like my hair. Hi, crazy hair. What's going on today? How you doing? I just got you cut, and yet you're being still crazy. It was very cute. A couple of you told me that I had very pretty hair in the last episode. I got a cut like the day after. In fact, the day I uploaded the episode, I got it cut. So I didn't even know that anybody was like, oh, your hair looks nice. Because I really was like, cut it all off! Shave my head! Now! So it was very cute of you, but I got it cut anyway. And now it's being crazy. Come on, Ravelry, hurry up! Big to my will, okay? So I believe they're called the Static Zing socks. But they involve some 1x1 striping, just one row. And she uses self-striping. But I think what I want to make, again, because now I'm addicted to these little stripes of things, is I want to find the pattern. There it is, Static Zing. I want to be able to do more than one thing at once, efficiently and correctly. That's too much to ask, isn't it? Anyway, so she's written hers for self-striping, but I think it'd be super fun to do them just as, and people have done them in different, like, you know, just two different colors. You can do a ball of self-striping and do it from one end and the other at the same time. You can do two different colors. You can do a self-striping and a solid. You could do, but what I would like to do is scrappy. Right? Wouldn't it be super fun? I think this would be super cute and scrappy, scrap. That had this kind of effect without the mini skeins. But yeah, hello. How fun is that? Okay, so the next thing I have finished, okay, is my, I'm going to say Bray. Am I lying? Bray, Birch, Barton, Tootle, Bartoodle-doo. Why is Apple being so slow today? Really? It's also not on this device. I have too many devices. What is wrong with me? Anyway, it's by Jared Flood, and I'm just going to go with the fact that I think it's Bray. If it's not, it'll be in the show notes. Or it was in last week's, so you can look there and find out for yourself. It is the Bray cap. I was right. Should have doubted myself. Anyway, I'm trying to find the back. Yay! So that is finished. And this is knit with the Woolen Rabbits worsted. And it is knit on US 4s. This is the color Butterscotch Pudding. Are those all the things that I can't decide how I feel about it. Can you tell? I'm like, because this is what has the tendency to happen. Like you get like a nice little bishop poof at the top, which I'm not. Cardinal woolsey, as we've discussed before. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But you can flip the bottom down and then it stays on your head quite nicely. But then you get this weirdness. Anyway, so I can't decide. I can't decide how I feel about it. But besides the way it looks, I mean, the fit or the like weirdness. And did I block this? You know, I didn't really block it. Maybe that would help. I should try to block it and see if that will help. I'm trying to remember if I blocked it. Can you tell me, thinking like, Because unlike most slouchy hats, it has a tighter gauge, like it's not a tight gauge, but like a firmer gauge. And so it just doesn't automatically fall in the back like a lot of slouchy hats would, which are usually at a looser gauge. But it has these fun cables. Aren't they fun? And by the way, this is not like a misleading thing. This is exactly how it was pictured in the pattern, like with a little bit of a bishop poof. But I just wanted to make it anyway. But it was very fun to make, and I love the texture. What else do we need to say? The cables lined up nicely so that it was not confusing. I do have a lot of experience knitting, but I was able to just basically look at the pattern and then you were, good to go. But it's charted. I don't know if it's written in charted or just charted. It's charted. Just do the charts. It makes life easier. But like, for example, they're both like the cables, it's easy to keep track of. You don't have like alternate. Sometimes when there's a cable pattern that's not really nicely planned out, you get like a three row cable and a 7-row cable, and then they never match up the same way because their common multiple is too big of a number. Whereas this one had a very basic common multiple, which made it easier to deal with. Okay. Fun things about this hat are that it has a 2x2 tubular cast on. Now it's basically a 1x1 tubular cast on, if you've ever done that. And then you switch it around. You like reorganize the stitches, and it turns it into a 2x2, which I'd never done before. It was kind of fun to do. Would I do it again? If the pattern suggested it, would I just automatically go for it again? I don't know. But it was fun to do. What else was good about this pattern? I like how he does the slipless knits. He does a slip knitwise, put that stitch back on the left needle, and then knit 2 through the back loop, which I like the way that looks because an SSK is never exactly, like it always has a different raise than a knit 2 together. So I think that helped. What else was fun? Oh, I didn't bring the project over. He does his, now there's only one increase row in the hat, but if I'm not mistaken, which I could be, but if I'm not mistaken, he does a lifted leg increase, which sounds really dirty now that I said it out loud. It didn't sound dirty before. All of a sudden it sounds kind of dirty. He does a lifted leg increase, which I've seen. I mean, that increase has been around for as long as I know. And I believe even Elizabeth Zimmerman just talked about it when she's discussed how she decided which increase that she wanted to use universally. So I've seen it before, and I think I've tried it before and just not had good success with it. I don't know what happened this time, but now I love it. I'm making my husband a pair of gloves, and I decided to use that on the thumb gusset. Well, fingerless gloves. I decided to use that on the thumb gusset, and I like it quite a lot. Right? It's a fad, I'm sure. I'm sure I'll change my mind, and then I'll do something else, and then I'll be like, oh, wait, I like that now. But it's fun to do that. So I enjoy that. I'm enjoying that increase quite a bit. And you can just look up, I'm sure, like, lift. Like, just look up BDSM, people. Don't. I mean, do. I don't. You could look at it right now. I'm just be forewarned that it might not be appropriate for all ages and audiences. So I'm not sure. I'm just going to go ahead and Google lifted. I'll fall on the sword, people. I will be on the list. I will be on the FBI's list for lifted leg increase in case it is, in fact, something naughty. Oh, no, it's just giving me lift. That doesn't work because it just gives me leg exercises. I don't want leg exercises. Okay, there's one. Lifted increases. Oh, so just call them lifted increases, I guess. But there's a left one and a right one. So just look up lifted increases. Unless you want some leg exercises. Maybe you could do both. So, sounds good to me. So there's a left one and a right one. Typically, I use a backward loop and a forward loop on the row prior. I like that increase quite a bit. It's basically a make one and a left, make one right and a make one left, except that you give yourself a little bit extra room with that yarn over on the row before. And I like that one quite a lot. But now I'm kind of enjoying the lifted leg. I think the thing about it would be, I don't know how you would do it on the wrong side. Like if you needed to do similar increases on the wrong and right side, I don't know how you would do that. So that might be a downfall. Like for example, if you were doing a raglan sweater and you needed to increase on every row, but you were needing to get flat, that would be a time when you would need to have that, and I don't know how you would use it for that. Anyway. Okay, so that's all the finished knitting. I'm not going to show you that. I did bring the gloves over. I'm not going to show you that, but I will show you my new bag because it's so cute. It's from Joanna Spring and it's been farm. Did you see this one? It's like a fancy French rooster. I love it so much. And I'll show you that project next time when I have more done. The only thing I will show you today is I am working on the 3-color cashmere cowl. So that's become a popular pattern recently, and which I liked the look of it quite a bit, but I'm trying not to buy any yarn. I'm failing miserably because quite frankly, I just bought some a few days ago. But okay, so I guess I should not say that I'm trying to not buy any yarn, but I would like to be knitting more from stash. So I thought, I just don't know that I have anything that would really work for that. And all of a sudden I had a flash. It's the 3-color cashmere cowl, and it's by Joji Locatelli. It looks like that. It is written for fingering weight, I believe like Plucky Knitter or something like that. I had, don't even ask me how I had this. But anyway, so I have some what do we call this? I had some of this in what is considered a DK weight. The Maai. M-A-A-I. Maai. Anyway, it's 70% Superbaby alpaca. Superbaby. 70% Superbaby alpaca, 30% fine merino wool. It's 175 yards for 50 grams. Now, it is technically considered on Ravelry a DK. However, their suggested gauge is 6 stitches to the inch. So it's basically whatever you want it to be. I had several colors. I have Fjord. I have Pollen. Oh, my phone. I have Fog. And I have, they're just going to hang up because it's the telemarketer. And I have, what's this one called? Tar. Anyway, Tar. So I have these 4 colors. Now you notice in the title, it's just called a 3-color cashmere cowl. It's fingering weight. This might be DK. Whatever, we're mixing it up. But I bought these at my LYS because she had them knit into a cowl that the colors together, I just love them so much. Right? It was way more than I would normally spend for a single purchase, but I was high on yarn fumes apparently. These are not inexpensive. For me anyway. But so they're 50 grams, and again, they're listed as a DK, but the gauge suggested is 6 stitches. So the thing about them, and the reason that there is like that huge variation in the gauge is gauge versus wraps per inch, I'm assuming, because I believe that Ravelry bases their hootenanny on wraps per inch. Remember how I said I was going to do a short episode? Apparently not. Anyway, it's because of this cable structure, chain structure. I'm not really sure exactly what we call this, but there we go. So it looks like basically like it's like a crochet chain almost or something like that. So it has a great variation in circumference versus a high tension and a low tension. So I'm assuming that's why we get that discrepancy. But the reason I felt like I could substitute it despite the gauge difference, and really, I mean, I'm knitting mine at what is essentially about 4.5 stitches to the inch, I think. And I believe what is written is for 6. Yeah, 6. So technically the given gauge and the gauge for the cowl are the same. But I wanted it to have a little bit more drape. And I felt like the alpaca and the unique structure of the yarn itself would make it drapey enough to transfer. Transfer? That's really not the right word, but be an equitable substitution. So there it is so far. I just have 2 color stripes in. I'm starting the third one. It's so soft. I'm not usually an alpaca fan, but maybe I'm a Superbaby alpaca fan. Are you a Superbaby alpaca fan? Now that also sounds kind of dirty. Like not dirty, but like we're bronies or something. I'm a Superbaby alpaca fan, and I'm gonna dress up like one. That's what it kind of sounds like. But it's very so nice. So I'm gonna be knitting this a little slow because it's so wonderful. So yay that. I'm typing down Superbaby alpaca fan because that's kind of a weird thing. Except I typed Superbaby alpaca fab. So there's that. And then the only other thing I was going to show you is I've started, I just finished plying my tunis from Gnome Spun. And so I am currently but it needs to be washed and everything and skeined and all that good stuff. So I am currently in my weird obsession with 1x1 stripes, scrappy things. But to be honest with you, I'm really uptight about scrappy things. I know, right? I'm such a left-brained nerd. Like, could I be more left-brained? I could, and then I'd probably be more successful. But damn it. But I really want to be a person who does a lot of scrappy projects because I think they're beautiful. But man, they stress me out. Because I get really weird if like one thing is like a slightly warmer shade than the other thing. Like I get really twisted about it, which is silly. It's the reason I could never quilt. Like I love scrappy quilts. I think they're gorgeous. Will I ever make one? No, I can't. It doesn't make any sense, right? Like I know it doesn't make sense. Still afraid. So anyways, that's how I kind of feel about the scrappy projects in knitting. Like, they always look gorgeous when other people do them. Doesn't make sense to be afraid of the outside. I'm afraid of the outside. You know, that kind of a thing. So but in my madness for scrappy things and miniature skeins of things that still go, I am spinning up some, these don't look good in the bag. There's too much glare for you. From Hobbledehoy, she did chrysanthemum bats. They're the little batlings. And these I'm very excited about too because they're Polworth. A lot of times the batlings that are rights. Shut up, right? You know, Jared, just look at it. It's gorgeous. Ah, behold. But they're Polworth, which is super exciting because I'm not a huge merino fan. Okay, I'm not a merino fan. I said it. So, but my intention is I got 2 of these because they're like 2.3 ounces. Yeah, 2.3 ounces each. So I got 2 of the same colorway, and my plan is to spin them as mini skeins, and then just maybe just look at them. Quite frankly, who could blame me, right? I don't blame me. So I debated whether or not I was going to do a 2-ply or do a chain ply. I think I'm just going to do it. Well, I have decided at this point that I'm doing a chain ply. This is 2 of the little light pink ones, which you didn't see because I just used them all. So they're just like a little tiny bit of something. So it's a fun little thing to do. And then I'm just going to chain ply this. And hopefully that will work out. I don't do a ton of chain plying, so we'll see. But it seemed like it made more sense than trying to do those little tiny bumps into a 2-ply, unless I did a center pull ball, which I also am I'm terrible at the center pull ball. Are you good at it? Are you good at the center pull applying ball? Psh, psh. I'm awful at that. I'm just too impatient, I think. Maybe. But I'm totally enjoying that. Okay, so I think that's all. There's going to be a tiny little update today. I'm going to put them up, which I know, right? I'm just going to tell you, I guess. There were some overages in terms of, after I got the big errand bags done, of the blue and the green, which are the two most popular colors. And a couple people asked me if I would have any more bags with those colors. So there are just a few. I'm going to throw them up in the shop. There's a good amount of the blue ones, but there's not too many of the green ones. And you'll see that there's a difference in terms of the way the print is running. See, mine is also scrap. There won't be orange. They'll just be blue and green. But on the normal bags, the print went this way. And on these little wedges, it'll go this way. Which I dig. I'm just going to throw those up today, and they'll be up till they go out. And I'm not going to like publicize that very much, so you might still find one if you want. And then there will be an update on the 30th, I believe, with the Charlie Harper fabrics. Those will be both the older Charlie Harper fabrics and the newer ones. Now, I won't have any of the animal, like they will all be birds. So the newer run of Charlie Harper fabrics, oh wait, there's a fox. Never mind, I lied. There's also the fox. But the newer run of the Harper fabrics had like penguins and elephants. I don't have those. I mostly have birds and foxes. So, yay, I think that's all. So still longer than I anticipated. Oh, whatever, we'll figure it out. And I hope you have a lovely week. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.